evening, friends. This evening session is dedicated to class 11, and we are going to do the second fiction, class 11. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together, by Gordon Cook and Ellen East. We are going to do the second fiction, We Are Not Afraid to Die if We Can All Be Together. This is this is a first person narrative. It is a first person account of an adventurous ordeal experienced by the family. This story is a first person account of an ordeal, an adventurous ordeal experienced by the family. Now you may ask, sir, why do such, expeditions are being taken, or why do people take expeditions of this kind? You may ask this question, that why such an expedition is taken, which is risky and hazardous, dangerous for a human being and for the one who really undertakes. And why did captain, the captain and his family undertook this adventurous expedition, knowing that it was full of danger, and even they could die in this adventure, but still they did so. Why? That is the question that you might ask. Look, it takes all sorts of people to make the world. This world is made of different types of people. Some like peaceful life, some prefer adventurous life. Some of the peoples are there, they don't want to sit in when they just want to explore new things, new land, new ideas. They just want to break the record set by the previous our ancestors. They are always crazy of exploring new ideas and new things. The history of mankind always shows that all our progress owes to each brave and fearless person like Captain Cook, Tenzing and Edmund Hillary, and the many other people, Vasco da Gama, those who have really created a landmark in the history of expedition and search new land, new country, new island, and set new record, either by climbing a mountain or by exploring a new land. So why do the people go for that? That is the question that might ponder your mind, and the answer is very simple. Perhaps it is the blood of man that craves for adventure. All human beings have certain instinct in us, and that always craves for adventure. Our blood craves for adventure. Man wants to go beyond the known. He wants to go beyond the known and find the unknown. That is the urge of the man. He wants to explore the unknown. All the explorer, navigators, mountaineers have undergone urge to transcend their limitations. All these mountaineers, all these explorers, all these navigators have gone beyond the known facts to explore new things and new lands, and just to prove or just to transcend their limitation. So this is the urge of every human being, to transcend his limitation. Like that, the captain and his family also wanted to prove their urge to transcend their limitation, and that is why they took the expedition, the journey around the world. They wanted to duplicate, the captain and his family wanted to duplicate the round the world journey, the round the world voyage undertaken by Captain Cook 200 years ago. What did the captain and his family want to do? They just wanted to duplicate the expedition, the voyage that was taken 200 years ago by Captain Cook, and so they wanted to duplicate that very voyage, around the world voyage, and that voyage was undertaken 200 years ago by Captain Cook. So they just wanted to duplicate that. And so there are three sections of this narrative, this story. The first section describes how the voyage began in July 1976, and the captain and his family were just trying to set this record and duplicate the voyage undertaken by Captain Cook. So they prepared a special boat that was named Wave Walker, and it was professionally made boat which had been tested in the roughest weather. The captain prepared professionally a boat meant for this purpose, and that boat was called Wave Walker. This boat was professionally made for this purpose, the purpose of these boys, and was tested against the roughest weather. Then the second section describes the search for an island, and it also describes the struggle of the captain and his family, including the two crew member who joined later on, and their struggle for the last 15 hours to survive. So that the second section of the story describes the struggle for survival, and the struggle against the waves, the adventurous escape of the family and the crew members from the wave. And on January 4, the entire crew members and the family ate for the first time in 2 days. And the third section describes their cheerful landing on the island, and that was the miracle that they got. They got the island in front of their eyes, and they were delighted. They succeeded in really duplicating the journey and reaching the island. They were cheered by 28 inhabitants on the island, and they were brought ashore. Now some important points that we are going to read out, which makes the entire story, and it is just the nutshell of the story. The captain, his son, his daughter Suzanne, his son Jonathan, and his wife Mary decided to duplicate the voyage, round the world voyage, that was undertaken by Captain Cook 200 years ago. They decided. It was just July in 1976. The narrator, his wife Mary, his daughter Suzanne, and his son Jonathan, they set sail from England, Cape Town, and they began to encounter strong gales, the strong winds. The size of the waves was quite alarming. The waves could rise up to 15 meters, and the captain and the crew members, they were threatened by the size of the wave. The boat Wave Walker was especially meant for this purpose and was tested against the roughest weather. The first leg of 105,000 of kilometers voyage was quite pleasant. The first leg of the voyage, 105,000 kilometers, went on very peacefully. There was no hue and cry in the journey. It was quite pleasant. The crew members, two crew members, American, Larry Wiesel, and the Swiss, Segler, joined to help the captain. The weather was gentle for some time, but all of a sudden the weather became hostile. On the very Christmas and the New Year day, the weather was very rough. It became hostile. The waves started, roaring, and the wave roared, and the increase, it's like a thunder. It was quite alarming. A torrent of green and white water broke over the sea. A torrent of green and white, wave broke over the sea. The narrator's head got smashed into the whale, and he started bleeding. His head and his mouth started bleeding. He was tossed like a rag ball. The narrator was just tossed like a rag ball. His left ribs creaked, completely got cracked, and his mouth was filled with blood and broken teeth. The Wave Walker was also capsizing. It was almost, the mouth of death. The narrator accepted, the approaching death, but miracle happened. Larry and Hod went on pumping out water from the boat, and by the morning of January 6, the wind stopped completely, and they had a relief from the stormy weather. They survived through they survived the roughest sea at last. Jonathan rushed to his father and said he was the best daddy in the world and the best captain. Suzanne also was delighted, and they rushed on the deck. The narrator also rushed on the deck, and he could see the island approaching very close to him. They all, saw the island in front of their eyes. Their joy knew no bounds when they saw the land, and they landed on the island, which was inhabited by only 28 people. And all the 28 inhabitants of the island greeted them and put them and brought them, and they helped them ashore. So that is how the story came to an end. So this is all about that we are not afraid to die if we all can be together. That means if we can all be together, means if the family, our beloveds are together, there is nothing to worry about death. Even death cannot make your purpose, deviated. You can turn the table if you are with your beloved ones, your family ones, those who love you, those who are for you. If they are with you, you can do even an impossible thing. So it is rightly said that impossible things have always been made possible by the great people. The Vasco da Gama, who invented or who discovered the land America, Captain Cook, who went round the world, and the voice he proved to the humanity that the adventurous task that they have undertaken has always been for the pleasure of man. Had they not undertaken this risk and adventure of, exploring this new land, today we would not have known the beautiful country like America. We should never have come to know the sea route to India or any other, country. So all this and the beautiful peak mountain which have been explored and landed by Tenzing and Edmund Hillary. All these people have really brought miracle, and they have explored and they have done something adventurous in their life, and that brings out to conclude the lesson that there is nothing to worry about death if we all can be together, if we all are together in the task, if all our beloved ones, those who really like us and those who really support us, if they are together, we can escape death, and we can conquer death, we can conquer any danger in life. And that is what this story highlights. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.